I'm Alyssa.
And I'm Logan.
And today's forecast calls for it to be very wet.
Yes. Well, yeah, one of our movies is a wet movie for sure.
Yeah, very...
In many ways.
Let's fill a whole room with water, I guess. Also, now it's the end and it's raining a lot.
Yeah, all the ways.
Yeah.
Is Get Out wet in any way? There's some tea. Tea's liquid.
And blood.
I mean, yes, there's also blood in Shape of Water. We left that wet bullet point out.
Well, because the other things are a lot wetter.
Okay, they do say blood's thicker than water, but water is wetter than blood, is the full saying that no one's ever said before.
No, they always say it is what you just said.
You're right.
Okay.
No one ever tells you that, you know? It's the forbidden knowledge that we here at Marketer's Cut will share with you. By the way, this is the Marketer's Cut. We are a movie marketing podcast, and today we're taking on The Shape of Water and Get Out. So our little mini topic is Best Picture winners, and the movie that, if the Best Picture winner did not win, we would have preferred to win. So this one for us, Shape of Water won in 2018, and Get Out definitely would have deserved it if the spot was open, because Get Out was amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. I just realized the graphics that I pre-made for this episode, I said 2017 Oscars, but like these movies came out in 2017, but the Oscars were 2018.
You messed up.
I did mess up. Do you want to jump right into these? Do you want to dive into the pool of wet movies we're talking about?
I'd love to use my big old scar gills just to hop right into that water and breathe it in.
All right, let's go. Okay, so we're going to start with The Shape of Water. As you know, won Best Picture, also won Best Director, and possibly some other things. In 2018 at the Oscars, it's directed by Guillermo del Toro, known for other great films like Pan's Labyrinth and Pacific Rim, and one that I think doesn't get talked about enough, Crimson Peak. Fantastic movie.
You did really love that.
I did. So here's a quick synopsis from IMDb. At a top-secret research facility in the 1960s, a lonely janitor forms a unique relationship with an amphibious creature that is being held in captivity.
Okay, I'm going to read this next part because it's in all caps.
Oh, well, okay. I just want to say real quickly that synopsis was written by somebody who hates people with lisp, because it attacked me.
That was hard for you.
To my core.
Agree. Okay, this next one, again, it's all in capitals, so I'm going to read it.
Okay.
Such way. The Shape of Water was made because Del Toro saw a creature from the Black Lagoon when he was 6 and wanted the creature and the lady to get together, and that didn't happen.
I read that from a story. I did write it in all caps in our notes document because I think it's the best thing that's ever been written or said. I mean, imagine.
I think it sounded very good, actually, when I just straight up shouted it. It was a lot better when I shouted it.
I loved it. But Can you picture like a 6-year-old watching like a monster movie and being like, I'm definitely shipping these two. And it doesn't happen, and he's heartbroken for like, I mean, what? Del Toro's got to be in his 50s, maybe 60s. So like for half a century, this is like bubbling up in the back of his mind. And finally he gets to do it, and then people have the nerve to say this movie is not amazing. We won't talk about that.
There's a lot going on there. You're absolutely right. There's a lot going on there.
Cool. Well,
sure thing.
I do want to point out that came from an interview with producer of this movie, J. Miles Dale, and we're going to get into some other stuff from that interview down below. But before that, we're going to talk about the basic release date budget.
Sure thing.
That. Cool.
I say that all the time.
Yes, you do. So this movie opened, maybe not where you are, but opened for the first time on December 1st, 2017. The budget was $20 million. This was distributed by what is now known as Searchlight Pictures, but what was then known as Fox Searchlight, which is a smaller branch of like the Fox movie empire that has now been conquered, I guess, by Disney. But that kind of did like smaller films and everything like that. You're telling me to hurry up. It's sort of important because we're going to get into some Searchlight stuff later. Okay, but now we're going to get into the box office numbers. So its opening weekend was $166,000. Pretty low, but that's because it only opened on 2 screens. And again, we'll explain that in a little bit more detail down below, or a little bit later. The domestic total was 64 million. International made 131 million. So worldwide, it made 195 million. That's a pretty big success. It did really, really well for the kind of movie it is and the kind of budget it got and everything.
Wait, what's that thing called, a multiplier?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see what the multiplier was. It was 9.75.
That's really good.
That is very good.
So what this had was a platform release. And in the interview with producer Jay Milesdale, he talks about how Searchlight does this with pretty much all their movies. Maybe on different scales, but a platform release, which we should have talked about this before, and we kind of have, but not under this name, is you pretty much open on a small scale and kind of expand each week. And what that does is it gives you a really high per screen average because they're heavily controlling where the movie comes out, making sure that there's like high demand for it. So it opened on 2 screens, I believe, just in LA. And the per screen average was $83,000. And when distributors are trying to get this movie booked in other theaters, and other theaters are trying to get this movie, they don't look at how many theaters it opened in or its total. They look at that per screen average. And they say, we have 3 screens, we can bring this movie in and make $250,000. So that's what they did with this one. It only opened in 2 theaters. Its weekend gross peaked in its 9th weekend with $5.9 million made on 1,854 screens. And its theater count peaked in the weekend after with 4.4 million on 2,341 screens. One other thing I looked at was the Oscars, which, happens a couple months, normally a while after a movie comes out, This one, it did kind of come out closer to award season. But the weekend of the Oscars, it made 1.5 million on 832 screens. And the weekend after, a 59% increase with a little over 2 million on about double the amount of screens, on 1,500 screens. So, again, looking at the Oscars bump, it did win Best Picture, so that brings a lot of attention to it. I'm pretty sure I saw it again after it won Best Picture because I loved it. And speaking of loving it, this movie had a 92% critic score and a 72% audience score. Pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Did you like it? Would you give it a thumbs up?
I would give it a thumbs up. I gave it 4 stars on Letterboxd.
I'd give it a fins up. All right. Cool. So there's a lot of interesting things from this.
He transitioned like that because I just stared at him with a dead blank stare, and he had nothing else to say, and he knew he had disappointed me. That's why he transitioned that way, because I was dead staring at him.
Maybe I just transitioned because we have a lot to get through, and I just wanted to move along.
Yeah, but why am I going to respond to you when you say something like that?
I'm giving you a fins down. So a cool thing about the budget, this movie, like I said, was made on a $20 million budget. Now, Del Toro originally wanted to do it in black and white, brought it to the studio. The studio was like, we'll give you $16 million. And he said, well, what if we do it in color? And they said, we'll give you $20 million. And he's like, all right, cool, we'll do it in color, which is kind of hilarious. And also still kind of cool because he did get his little black and white scene. He got a little bit of black and white in this movie. And yeah, another thing from the interview with, again, producer Jay Milesdale. Was that his name? I feel like I got it wrong. Nope, I got it right. He said, this is a big quote from him in the interview, but I think it's worth reading out. So he says, I was here a couple weeks ago for a PGA conference, and James Seamus did a speech. He was talking about 1916 and that year in the movie business and how it was all going to shit for all kinds of reasons. It seems like at every stage, when talkies came, when television came, when the internet came, there's this continued threat. But I think that the social experience of going to the theater, the big screen experience, is really something, and I don't think it's going away. I think it'll get adjusted. You're seeing Amazon and Netflix and some of those other places going to day and date, and there will be premiums. But the experience itself is something that people have enjoyed for a long time, and I think it's going to be more resilient than everyone gives it credit for. So it's not really about Shape of Water necessarily, but
No?
but the interview did kind of go into the viability of the film business, and I thought that was more relevant than ever, looking at like COVID now and how studios really are going to that day and date release on streaming, and seeing how that will affect the movie business.
Yeah, I just saw that ArcLight's not going to open
Yeah.
anymore and something else. I just saw my phone
Well,
within the last 30 minutes.
Just last weekend, Godzilla vs Kong opened to huge numbers, showing that like, hey, theaters are still alive. And then a week after, you get news that ArcLight, which I've never been to one, but was a beloved theater in LA, will not be reopening. So this quote wasn't entirely as correct as it was when I copied it and put it into this document. But maybe it'll still hold some weight for like the big chains, which like aren't as good as ArcLight, but still give an opportunity to see movies on the big screen. Cool. So the trailer for this movie. What did you think about the trailer?
Trailer had a good vibe about the whole movie.
It does. One thing I love about this movie is like the overall vibe. You know, the style that like oozes from every corner of it, and the trailer nails that. It gets it perfectly.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I think it shows a lot. It shows I mean, one of the final shots in the movie. It shows everything, but I do think it's kind of frantic enough that maybe you don't like understand what you're seeing when you're seeing it.
Definitely, you have no idea what's going on when you see all of it, but it covers what the movie's about.
Yeah. And there aren't a lot of movies that are made with a main character who can't speak and her main form of communication is sign language. And so there's already not a ton of movies like that. But one thing I loved about the trailer is that they didn't try to hide it, and they didn't try to use it as like a gimmick, I guess. But there was one shot where, you know, somebody says something, and then they cut to a different shot of her responding, and it's like really intense in the trailer, but she's just signing it, and the subtitles are coming up on screen in the trailer. And that's just not something I think I've seen a bunch with a movie like this.
I agree.
Or the trailer like this, and I love that they did it that way. I thought that was pretty fascinating and commendable. It's just like how you would treat any other line of dialogue in a movie.
Yep.
I love the poster for this one. It's amazing.
Very good.
I own a copy of it. You know, the main poster is them like embracing romantically. It's so romantic. In the water. And her shoes falling off, and you're like dying to know why her shoes falling off.
Yes. I'm dying about it.
There's also another poster which, like, when we worked at a theater, we did get shipped this other poster, which, like, I recommend anyone look up if they haven't seen it, but it's like a sketch drawing of the fish man, who we're naming Gil, and I cannot remember her name now.
Alyssa?
Eliza.
Yeah.
And Eliza also kind of like embracing, but it's more like close, and it's a like black and white like pencil type sketch. And it looks amazing. I also believe I have a copy of that one somewhere in our poster closet.
I hope so. You mean your poster trunk?
Or my poster outdoor closet.
And they're getting crushed in your trunk.
Don't judge me.
You're going to be pissed when those posters are damaged.
Okay, you're probably right. But listen, the Shape of Water still has great posters. It has a great everything. The marketing plan and strategy was solid. It did really well. Now my question is, what would you do differently? What would you add on?
There's one thing I've been thinking of. I don't even want to say it.
Okay.
I've been thinking of it, and somebody did it.
Okay.
And I don't want to say it, but
you got to say it. The suspense is killing me, and I know it's killing the listeners.
Again, I've seen that this has been done.
Okay. Cool. I don't know. I don't know if I have seen it because you haven't told me what it is.
You've probably seen it. It is the Fishman's dildo.
Oh my god.
You have seen it, haven't you?
No, I'm so glad you said it. I'm so glad you came out and said that.
I didn't want to, but I did say it.
No, it wasn't officially done, was it?
No, it was someone made it for their fucking Etsy or something. I don't know.
Okay, so we're talking about like official posters and stuff.
Yeah.
It should be like, oh, fish, like a fish man
Ooh.
poster.
Yeah, that would have been good.
Oh, fish, shape of water, dildo.
But okay. Well.
I mean, it works.
Yeah, I don't know why. It's because it's like a romantic thing, and
You just pointed at me,
Well, because
kind of with two fingers. Are you trying to say like retractable?
Remember when she did that in the movie? She like does the motion for how it works.
Maybe, I don't know.
I can't. That's like the one thing I always remember is how she like did her. I'm doing it wrong, but how she did her hands to show like it's inside and then it goes outside.
Huh.
I just can't get that out of my brain.
I love that that's imprinted on your brain. Okay, now that's good. I have an adjacent idea. So there should be like
adjacent idea is not what I want to hear.
It's not as adjacent as you're afraid of. I'm telling you that. So I think that a lot of people maybe see this and they're like, I should learn sign language.
Okay.
Okay, so there can be some shape of water, like YouTube sign language tutorials. But nobody just wants to learn, brother, apple, tree,
I mean, I would like to, but
Okay, well, I would as well. But, like, in middle school, I tried to learn Russian. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember anything except for one phrase. Diabuchka jest goitso. Means the girl eats egg. It's a little over the top. It's a little out there, and I remember it. Mm-hmm. I think you need to have some very specific fishman sex phrases that you can teach in sign language. And you're teaching the essentials. You're teaching, your prepositions and your... how to say fish and sign language and everything. But also, maybe you're getting some sexual education in terms of fish man.
Okay.
As well. And also, you're learning sign language along the way.
That's actually an interesting idea. Okay.
Yeah. Should there have been a Red Band trailer?
No.
No?
There's not enough Red Band material for it to be a Red Band trailer.
Oh, I guess. Should they have made more Red Band material for a Red Band trailer?
No. The idea of this movie is that it's supposed to be more wholesome, I feel.
It is supposed to be wholesome.
So I just don't think a Red Band trailer would be ideal for this.
I'm thinking about the way we've talked about our marketing ideas, and I'm not sure that Del Toro would be, like, proud of us.
I'm sorry, that man said when he was 6 he wished that this would happen and then made a movie about it.
I mean, no, that's true.
So he is childish in his ways and we are mature and these are good ideas.
Okay, well, don't call Del Toro childish and then turn around and call us mature. If anything, we're all childish here. Or he's more mature than us. I'm just afraid that Del Toro's going to listen and be deeply disappointed in me.
You think Del Toro's going to listen to this episode?
I mean, you never know.
I do know. He's not.
Okay, well, I've always been the more optimistic of the two of us.
I love the aesthetic so much, but what else can you do with it?
Makeup palette.
Well, why would you kill me with that?
Fishman makeup palette.
That'd be so pretty.
Mm-hmm. And that blue that he lights up with? Mm-hmm. That bright blue?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
No, I completely agree with you. And then, like, the reds of, like, the red and golds.
Yeah.
Like, the classical colors and browns.
Before we move on, we should also point out that, like, there is a Fishman Funko Pop that I do own.
Yeah, you
and
do.
I believe there's also a Guillermo del Toro, like, himself Funko Pop. Which I don't own, but I need to put right beside the Fishman. Because that's where he wants to be.
Yeah, that's so
is right
true.
Beside the Fishman. But no, I mean, the marketing for this movie was very good. It was low-key enough, and that, like, very small platform release kept it making money consistently, small amounts, relative to other movies. It was never above, like, 7th or something at the box office, which, looks bad, but then when you see that it's making consistently, like, at least $1 million every week after that first couple of weeks, then it's, that's a success. I mean, it did make almost $200 million worldwide.
Yeah, it was 9.75 times how much it cost to make the movie.
Exactly. Cool. You want to move into Get Out now?
Yep.
Cool. Well, Get Out.
Cool. Cool. Yep, so cool.
Get Out is directed by Jordan Peele. Here's the synopsis from IMDb. A young African-American visits his white girlfriend's parents for the weekend, where his simmering uneasiness about their reception of him eventually reaches a boiling point. Kudos to whoever used these adjectives and
No, I'm laughing because, number one, thank you for making the text big enough on the screen to where I can actually read it, number one. The second is that you made sure you told us.
Don't. We're getting there. But no, I'm just loving that it says simmering uneasiness and then it says it reaches a boiling point. Like,
and that's all true, too.
Yeah. Yeah,
Very
no,
accurate.
No, good synopsis though. So, what Alyssa's laughing about is right below this on our doc, which I airplay to our TV, is that this movie opened on February 24th, 2017, and I happened to notice that it was the same weekend that the hit film, the greatest film that I've never seen, Rock Dog, came out.
Actually, right now, you're going to have to stop this fucking podcast. I need to know how much Rock Dog made opening weekend in comparison to Get Out.
I'm going to look it up. Explain to them my love for Rock Dog.
I don't know.
Explain to them your love for Rock Dog.
I mean, it looked like an awful movie. It was called Rock Dog. Okay. I did very much want to see it.
That's where you fucked up. It's called Rock Dog. It can't look like an awful movie.
I mean, when you see the trailer, you're like, this was low budget, and they probably shouldn't have put money into it.
Okay. Overall, this movie made $23 million.
Okay. In opening weekend, it made almost $4 million. Okay.
Yeah. Now, can I read the synopsis for Rock Dog before we go to Get Out real quick?
We should not be talking about Rock Dog, but please.
Okay.
Please do.
When a radio falls from the sky into the hands of a wide-eyed Tibetan Mastiff, he leaves his home to fulfill his dream of becoming a musician, setting into motion a series of completely unexpected events. I didn't know a radio falls from the sky. But
we have to see this movie immediately.
I also don't think I ever saw a trailer for this movie. I've been obsessed with it since this came out because of the poster of a dog with a guitar. Okay, we need to get back to Get Out, but
I'm actually crying.
But Rock Dog is, again, like I said, the greatest movie I've never seen.
Opening, I'm going to talk about, you're not talking about fast enough. I have to talk more about Rock Dog. Budget was $4.5 million for Get Out. Opening weekend was $33 million. Rock Dog made about $4 million. So, Get Out made about 11 times more than Rock Dog did opening weekend. Let's just get it out there. We're done talking about Rock Dog now, I guess.
Okay.
Tell us the rest of the money.
So total domestic for Get Out was $176 million. Total international was $79 million, and worldwide was $255 million. So we talked before about how a lot of movies make about 40% of their total domestic and 60% international. That did not happen with this movie. And I don't know exactly what it is. I've seen that movies that are that resonate really well with American audiences because of American ideas and societal issues. Mm-hmm. Don't work as well over there. I could be wrong, but I believe that Black Panther was another movie where the international total was lower than expected. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why that is.
Yeah, I think it's just because it's relatable.
Yeah, it did so well in the U.S. because it was a big cultural moment for Black Panther to come out, and I guess maybe it didn't have that. It didn't fill the air like it did in some other countries. Mm-hmm. These other big box office markets like China and Japan and stuff, which is unfortunate because these movies, Black Panther and Get Out, are amazing. So I wish it would have made more, although Get Out still made $255 million, which is more than Shape of Water.
Yeah, and it was, the budget was only $4.5 million. It did about 56.6 infinite of a multiplier. That's a lot.
So that's actually something that I kind of want to talk about too, but Get Out was a Blumhouse horror movie. And you don't really watch a lot of horror, but Bloomhouse does low budget horror. That's what they do. Uh-huh. And sometimes they're terrible. A lot of the times they're terrible, I think. Mm-hmm. But horror movies make money. So when you do a $5 million budget and you come away and you only make $40 million at the box office, you're doing good.
Yeah.
But you also have a chance for these hits to come about, where you only spend $5 million on a movie. And I'm sure the marketing budget for this was probably more than it cost to make the movie itself. But you end up making $255 million worldwide, and it's huge.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a big difference. They made so much money from this.
Yeah, this was the most profitable film of 2017, which makes sense looking at those numbers. It's Rotten Tomatoes, better on both ends than Shape of Water, 98% critic, 86% audience. Now, cinema score for this movie was A-. We didn't get that for Shape of Water because you only get a cinema score if a movie opens in more than 1,500 theaters. And Shape of Water opened in 2.
Yeah.
So it didn't get a cinema score. But A- is very, very good. So this next thing I want to talk about is actually a quote from the previous interview with J. Miles Dale, the producer of Shape of Water. They somehow got to the topic of Get Out, kind of talking about budgets for movies and everything. And he says, I'm very impressed that they made Get Out for $4 or $5 million. I thought it was a brilliant genre-bending movie, and it had a lot of production value. I mean, it wasn't that one house, but that's impressive to me. So, I mean, that just kind of goes to show, like, the skill of Jordan Peele, like, taking that small budget and making something that feels so much bigger with it. But also, like, just the skill of Bloomhouse for being able to, greenlight these movies and set these, like, low budgets, but somehow still make them so successful. They have a good machine over there. Cool. So let's get into, like, the more real marketing for Get Out. The campaign for this movie started roughly 3 months before release, and compared to a film like A Quiet Place, that had a 6-month campaign, Get Out was like relatively short. It was a short, fast, like punchy campaign getting up to the release of the movie. There were 2 parallel campaigns. One was just focused on it being a traditional horror movie, marketing to horror audiences, and the other campaign focused on the social commentary of the movie. I think it's smart. I wish you didn't have to do that, but I think it's smart that they separated those 2 things. Because I think, honestly, there's a lot of people that see a movie focused on social commentary and make up their mind about it before they go see it. And, if that's how you want to market something, I get that. But I think it does drive people away. But they figure out a way to both market it like that and also, and like the regular trailer that is shown in theaters and everything in front of like horror movies, to just make it seem more like a traditional horror movie that's directed by the guy who used to do a bunch of comedy shorts on Comedy Central. The trailer was paired with horror movies like Split and Ouija Origin of Evil, but also with serious movies like Fences, which I think is a little unique. Like, you would never see like an Annabelle trailer on Fences, but they threw a Get Out trailer on Fences.
Did they really? Wow, those seem like 2 very different times.
Fences was the year before. So you gotta remember, Get Out came out early 2017, and Fences was an Oscar contender.
In 2017.
Yeah, when the Oscars were happening in 2017. And Fences was, I believe, a Christmas release in 2016.
Because we saw it.
Yes, we did. So you gotta think that's about 3 months or 2 months-ish before
That's crazy.
Get Out came out.
They seem so different.
Yeah. Also, I want to point out that the trailer was paired with a kids movie at least once at the theater that I worked at, because one of our assistant managers accidentally put the Get Out trailer on some animated film. I don't remember which movie it was, but I do remember the complaints that we got and the refunds we had to give out. So that was a fun time.
What a fun time.
It's a pretty terrifying trailer, too. So I get it. Cool. So, in terms of like PR and public relations and everything, there was a New York Times article that ran a week before the film released called Jordan Peele on a Truly Terrifying Monster, Racism, and it featured a really long, lengthy interview with Peele. Again, that was right before the movie came out.
Yeah.
So great timing. And I think the last thing I want to talk about here is, I got 2 more things. A quote from Jason Blum, the, I don't know if he's the CEO or president, head of Bloomhouse, I guess is the best way to say it. One of the many advantages of micro-budget filmmaking is that it gives the marketing department the ability to take risk. Universal embraced everything that is unique and subversive about Jordan's movie. which I thought was interesting because it's like so low budget. If it did do bad, if
Yeah.
it didn't do $255 million at the box office, they're not actually losing that much money from it.
Yeah.
So it gives them the opportunity to take these big risks and to probably have a higher chance of like, having a movie that hits 250 million as opposed to 40 million. Like it's either going to be a failure or a super success.
Yeah.
So I like that aspect, and I like that we got the insight from Bloom there. And then one of the last things is users posted, or the Get Out Twitter account asked users to post videos using the hashtag Get Out Challenge to recreate a scene of a young man running menacingly towards the camera and veering away at the last moment. You remember the shot in the trailer? The guy's running.
Not even just a trailer. I've seen these videos.
Oh, you saw the videos?
I've seen a lot of these videos.
I don't remember these videos happening. I'm glad
Maybe
you've seen
not
them.
at the time, but I see them now. Still,
Okay.
Sometimes.
Well, Golden State Warriors basketball star Steph Curry posted one of those.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Curry as well. He just broke the Warriors franchise record for points last night, I believe.
Wow.
Breaking Wilt Chamberlain's record. Pretty amazing.
Pretty amazing.
Yep. Also, a couple of years ago, he broke the record for Warriors players to ever participate in the Get Out Challenge. He was the first, probably.
Wow.
Yeah, amazing. So the trailer for this movie kind of talked about how it's terrifying. What are your thoughts on it?
It was, yeah, I mean, it's a little spooky, and you're like, but also the whole time you're like, what the hell's happening? Kind of like with Shape of Water. You're like, this is cool. There's a lot going on. What the fuck is happening? I wonder what's happening. I really want to see. And in this, you're like, wow, a lot of shit's happening. How does it lead to this? How does it lead to that? What's going on? Well, let's see.
I think it's a pretty spooky trailer, pretty scary trailer. I remember not being excited for it at all, based just on this trailer, because it did make it look like just another Bloomhouse horror film. It didn't look special to me, and I didn't get any of that other, campaign that they were running at the time. Mm-hmm. But it was the word of mouth that once it released and like became a part of everything that made me go see it.
Yeah. I agree. It was Wom. They did it for me.
Wom. Yep. But no, the trailer was great. One thing that I mentioned to you before we started recording is that, and I'm going to spoil Get Out here, so if you haven't seen it, why are you even listening to us? Like, I feel like we're on a different wavelength, But they were able to hide the twist of like their girlfriend being in on the whole thing in the trailer, because they showed shots of like the family attacking him and everything. But I thought it was interesting they were still able to kind of mask that twist while showing her in those scenes. They were showing the parts where she's like faking that she's like still helping. There's another part where she like points a gun at somebody, and you can like read that as her pointing a gun to help him and not pointing a gun at him. And I just think that was a kind of brilliant way to show the only parts in the movie that kind of have that horror action feel, the high pace or fast paced horror, but also not give away like the amazing twist of the film. Yeah. So very impressive there. The trailer did debut with 66 million views, which is about 2 to 3 times the amount of views that an original horror film normally gets. So the trailer did like generate a ton of buzz. Yeah. Cool. What do you think about the poster? The main U.S. poster.
Also spooky. Why is that man wearing a night helmet? I don't remember that in the movie.
It's the brother. Her brother wears that helmet to kidnap people.
Oh, right. Okay, great. I mean, it's kind of spooky. It's very interesting. Like the angles of all of those lines and like the different pictures. It's just really interesting.
Yeah, no, I like it. I think the UK poster that I encourage you both to look at these. We'll probably post both of these on our Twitter at some point after the episode is released. But this UK poster I think is better. It's all black and white imagery, but it's got these stark like black background, white text on the left side, and white background, black text on the right side. Mm-hmm. It looks really cool, I think. Yeah. Yeah. You ready to talk about our own marketing ideas?
No.
No?
No. Now, one thing, listen, in that trailer they did it well and I liked it. Like this imagery of like the dead deer, like the deer bones and like hitting the deer. Because they are kind of in like this woodsy area. I think that was really interesting. And I mean, I think they did a really good job with it. I don't know what else they could do with it, but
They could do something to boost the deer population in the U.S. to where people are just hitting deers like crazy all
I
the
would
time.
never wish that on anyone in my entire life.
I mean, understandable.
Yeah.
But again, like I always say when I say a bad idea, it get people talking. Not the people that are seriously injured from hitting a deer, but the other people. Okay, what do you think about like a Get Out branded hypnosis tea, you know? It's like you having trouble sleeping? Drink some chamomile. You having trouble getting to the sunken place? Drink this tea.
Now listen, before you said that, I thought that. When I was talking about ideas, I was like, it'd be cool if they did something with the tea.
I mean, you know how I love tea.
It'd be cool if they like, I mean, what the fuck would you put on a teacup, but like cool teacups?
Ooh.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
What would it be? I don't know. What would be on that? I don't know. Ooh! I know. It would be like skull, like deer skulls.
Okay.
With like the buck antlers. I think that'd be cool. And like an antique-ish, like old lady antique-ish kind of vibe. That'd be dope.
Now, is there a version of this movie where one of the characters is replaced by a fish man?
Nope.
Okay.
Next question.
I don't have any other questions for you.
Okay, well, let me hear your ideas.
Well, I said the tea thing, which is very cool,
That's
I think.
true, I guess.
My ideas.
Oh, I had another one I forgot to tell you about. So his best friend in the movie is very good. I just want more of him.
Uh-huh.
I want like a...
Like a spin-off TV show?
Listen, even if you want to do a comedy trailer with that motherfucker, you could. It'd be so funny if they had done like, hey, here's a horror one. Hey, here's a social commentary one. Also, it can be funny because this guy's in it. And I really did love that guy.
He was one of the best parts of the movie.
Yeah, he was just so funny.
Also, like, he kind of plays like that audience surrogate, which, you know, the audience, you're watching this movie and you're like, don't fucking go. You need to leave that house right now. There's some fucked up shit going on.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, I'm not leaving. But his friend's telling him, hey, there's some fucked up shit going on.
Yeah,
he's saying exactly word for word what you're thinking when you're watching this movie.
I agree.
I'm trying to look up his name so that we can give him the credit he deserves because he was amazing. Nope. Man, where is he at? Oh, Lil Ray Howery.
Yeah, he was so good.
Amazing. But yeah, more of him. Show some more of him because the trailer didn't have much of the comedy.
Yeah, and it definitely has funny parts.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they wanted to play it off as like a comedy type thing or like a more funny horror movie, they definitely could have, and you just need scenes with him in it.
Now, did they should have had Jordan Peele host like SNL around this time? They should have really pushed for that. Because SNL, like, if you have somebody who's like, in a movie or part of a movie that's coming out soon, they'll normally like do a sketch where they like include the guest host
Yeah.
in it, and they're kind of like parodying their own movie. Like, think Adam Driver and the Star Wars thing, the Matt from the Death Star or something. You have like Jordan Peele in there, like, I don't know, they could have done a funny Get Out sketch with Peele.
Actually, I think that would have been really
And
good.
had Peele write it because, and you know,
do like the Sunken Place or something.
had
I
Key
think
in
that
there
would
as
be
well.
Really fun, yeah. Was Key
yeah.
in this movie?
No.
Boo.
He's off doing his own thing. They're not attached at the hip. They can do their own thing. Key is actually the reason that this movie got made. What's his name? Keegan-Michael Key?
I don't know.
Something like that. I just know him as Key.
Yeah.
But I think in one of these interviews I read, he was like talking to a producer or something, and he's like, "Hey, Jordan's got these great ideas for horror movies," and then he like set up like a dinner or something, you know, like a meeting with his producer and Jordan Peele, and then Peele told him the idea, and he's like, "I want to buy this off you right now," and Peele wrote the first script in like 3 months. So I said they're not attached to the hip, but like this wouldn't have happened without the titular key from Key and Peele.
Exacerbate disease. Do you have exacerbate disease?
What are you talking about?
Do you know what exacerbate disease is? It looks like you might have it.
No.
It's where your face looks exactly like your butt. I can't believe there's no way I haven't sent you a TikTok that has said that. I can't believe you have exacerbate disease.
Our episode is coming to an end. Our get out ideas were not the best, but that's because they took literally all the good ideas. So that's our episode. That's take 22 of Marketer's Cut. Thanks for listening. Oh no, what do I say here? Find us on Twitter and Instagram.
You say the same thing. You've said it in 21 episodes, and you had to look at what.
Yeah.
You don't know what our handles are or anything.
I mean, I know what my handles are on the court.
Think you must have just forgot because of the exacerbate disease you have.
Find us on Twitter and Instagram at Marketer's Cut. Find the podcast anywhere you can find podcasts or on YouTube. Learn more at marketerscut.com. I want to thank Jacob Wall for his new art. Peep our new Instagram design this week from Jacob Wall as well. That's pretty cool. Find more of his work on Instagram at Jacob Art Wall. And yeah, that's everything. Goodbye, everybody. We're ending the episode.
Logan, I'll get that exacerbate cream for you.